You've been told the Bible's been changed, rewritten over the centuries, stripped of its original meaning. But I'm holding a 340-year-old Bible in my hands. And what's inside these covers proves otherwise. This is a 1685 King James Bible. And while some things have clearly changed over the centuries, they're not the things you might be expecting. Yes, the formatting, it evolved. The spelling, yes, it shifted. But the message, the doctrine, it's still intact. I'm going to show you exactly what changed and what never did. I'm Pastor G, and I've spent 20 years studying ancient manuscripts, the Hebrew language, and early Bible translations. I help serious Bible readers like you uncover the hidden history, language, and structure of the scripture so you can read it with clarity, confidence, and conviction. And if you've ever questioned whether the Bible you hold today is the same as the one believers read over 300 years ago, you're about to find out. Let's start with the things you can't unsee. This 1685 Bible doesn't say King James anywhere. Nothing on the front, nothing on the back, just the spine, simply marked Holy Bible and dated 1685. And that's exactly how it's supposed to be. The phrase King James Bible didn't start appearing on the cover until around the 1800s, almost 2 centuries after the 1611 was originally printed. Back then, it wasn't about branding. It was about reverence. And when you open this Bible, that tone, it continues. Every single page is framed literally with what's called red ruling. Thin, hand-drawn red lines encase the sacred text. But don't mistake these red lines for decoration. It's devotion in ink, a visual cue that what you're holding is holy. These lines weren't for style. They were a built-in pause, a visual reminder that you're not just reading, you're entering into something sacred. They slow you down and make you breathe. They invite you to reflect before you reach the first verse. And once you see this, it's the kind of thing that you can't unsee. This Bible wasn't rushed. It was reverently crafted to help the reader approach the word with care. Long before a verse was read, the design itself was already preaching. This isn't just a book. This is scripture. In our modern age of scrolling and swiping on YouTube shorts and Instagram reels, TikTok, and skimming, we've lost the instinct to pause. But in this Bible, reverence wasn't just printed, it was etched into every page. Every stroke of red ink, hand drawn with intention, wraps the word like a frame around a masterpiece. And here's the part most people miss. These red lines didn't print themselves. They were drawn by hand, one by one, page after page. Ruling a Bible like this with over 1,200 pages, that's 100 hours with nothing but red ink, a straight edge, and a steady hand, laying down frame after frame of reverence. This wasn't machine made. It was devotion through craftsmanship, not rushed, not automated, sacred space being created by hand before a single verse would ever be read. It's as if every line whispers, slow down. This is sacred. Page after page, it wasn't just scripture being preserved. It was awe being applied by hand with purpose. Now, take a look at the typeface. The original 1611 was printed in black letter Gothic script, which was ornate, traditional, and I have to be honest with you, very hard to read. It looked beautiful, but it wasn't practical for the average reader. By 1685, the printing of this Bible, that changed. They transitioned to Roman type, the same style of lettering we still use today. This wasn't a shift in theology, though. It was a shift in readability. It was a change in access. They didn't alter the scriptures by doing this. What they did was remove a barrier. Roman type made the Bible more readable, more approachable, and more usable for the everyday reader. That shift didn't dilute truth, it delivered the truth more clearly. It's a reminder that faithfulness and accessibility don't have to be conflicting. Let's zero in on something. Take a look at 1 John chapter 2, verse 23. Because what's found on this page is incredibly rare. Right after, whosoever denieth the Son, the same have not the Father. You'll notice that there's a but there, and it's italicized and in square brackets. That's not a design choice. That's a signal. This combination of italics and square brackets is almost never used in the King James Bible. And when it does appear, it's there to alert the reader to something very serious, a textual variation. The translators are letting you know that they included the next line. He that acknowledgeth the Son hath the Father also. They marked that tiny, seemingly insignificant word, but, to let you know that the phrase that followed wasn't found in every Greek manuscript. And here's the part that amazes me. They did this without access to Codex Vaticanus or Sinaiticus. Those manuscripts weren't even discovered yet. But through the tools they had, Erasmus's annotations, Beza's margins, the Latin Vulgate, they knew that there were textual differences out there. And instead of hiding it from us, they told us. Not in a footnote, not in tiny print. They marked it boldly, visibly, and reverently, right on the page. That's not just accuracy. That's integrity. This makes it explicitly evident that the King James Bible wasn't just translated. It was curated with honesty, caution, and a deep respect for not just the scriptures, but also for the reader alike. And if details like this matter to you, this is exactly the kind of meticulous detail I pack into my book, Elucidations. It goes beyond translation. It shows you how understanding the Bible by slowing down and looking through the lens of Hebrew completely changes how you read and interpret the scriptures. If you've ever wondered why one word can shift an entire meaning, or how ancient language can reveal hidden layers you've never seen, Elucidations is for you. It's linked in the description below. You'll also notice some old spelling that might look odd to your modern eye. For example, the word said with that long S that almost looks like an F. I'll go back to Genesis chapter 1 so you can see it. And God said, let there be light. I guess for so many, that's supposed to be some kind of huge scandal. That's the big evidence people point to when they say the Bible's been changed. It's not this verse versus that verse, or contrasting meanings or ideas. It's not doctrine being swapped out. It's just 17th century English. There was no spell check in 1685. Believe it or not, there was no standardized spelling across printers. This isn't a sign of corruption. It's a sign of history, y'all. What changed was the surface, not the substance. The truth stayed the same, but the way it looked on the page, like that long F, S and said, it's just what happens when a living language meets a lasting word. Let me show you something else very powerful in Luke chapter 17, verse 36. The King James Bible includes this verse: two men shall be in the field, the one shall be taken and the other left. But take a glance over to the margin, and you'll see a note that says, this 36th verse is wanting in most of the Greek copies. That's not a footnote hidden in the back. That's a bold admission, printed right on the page. And I have to tell you, this is one of my absolute favorite features of pre-Blayney revision King James Bibles. These marginal notes, they're game changers. They show that the translators weren't just wordsmiths. They were more like God's secretaries working on a sacred manuscript, like a good documentary producer. They didn't cut out the controversy. They left the hard truths in, but gave you context so you could think and come to a conclusion for yourself. They knew that this verse wasn't in most manuscripts. They could have removed it. They could have quietly put it in there without telling us, or they could have left us guessing. But instead, they included it and they told you. That's not hiding, that's integrity. The King James Bible wasn't just translated. It was handled with care, caution, and deep respect for the reader to engage Scripture honestly. Now, here's what hasn't changed. The order of the books. They're still the same. The chapters and verse divisions, still the same. The underlying manuscripts, still rooted in the Textus Receptus for the New Testament and the Masoretic text for the Old. Even the Apocrypha, which so many have forgotten today, is right here in this 1685, right between the Old and New Testaments, just like it was in the 1611, like it was in the 1560 Geneva, and like it was in the 1534 Luther Bible. The Apocrypha's removal came later, and that's a story I unpack in quite a few of my other videos. But here's what matters most. The message hasn't changed. The divinity of Christ, salvation by grace, the resurrection, the authority of Scripture, those doctrines have endured. They weren't added in. They weren't edited out. They were there, as they've always been when they were penned. And they're still there today. The formatting may have changed, evolved, but the foundation still rock solid. If we fast forward to today, the King James Bible most of us use is based on a 1769 Blayney revision. So now, after the Blayney revision, what actually changed? Spelling was standardized, punctuation was cleaned up, formatting was redefined, but no verses were retranslated, no doctrines shifted, the text wasn't revised, it was just polished. It was a presentation update, not a theological overhaul. So yes, the spelling evolved, the margins moved, the typeface changed, but the chapters, the verses, the message, still intact. The same word that revealed God to the church centuries ago is still speaking today. That's not just tradition, that's a testimony. And if this kind of Bible investigation opens your eyes, don't stop here. My book, Elucidation, goes even deeper. It unpacks how seeing Scripture through the lens of Hebrew and translator choices uncovers truths most readers never even see. Click the link in the description to get your copy today. Or if you're ready to keep learning, watch my next video. The King James Bible is still relevant today. It connects directly to everything we've uncovered in this one. Click now and let's keep uncovering the truth, one verse at a time.